Before I start the video, I would like to apologize for me cursing and also being mean to the characters. You know, all that. Oh yeah, just to let you know, in the background, it's actually one of my cats. They're meowing in the background. She's talking to her babies, her kittens. So that's why you constantly hear her in the background, just to let you know.
I had to repost this video and remake it because due to copyright. And I'm using text to speak right now because my family is home. I was home alone while making this video, by the way. I also speed up the video a little bit, making the video less long. It's for the best anyway.
Anyway, enjoy the video. I hope it's worth your time.
I'm going to talk about how, like, both Mavis and Dracula were both at the wrong for Dennis, the decisions and stuff. Now, look, Dracula was absolutely at the wrong for, trying to, trying to make him, a vampire or stuff, hoping that he's actually just a finger and whatever. However, Mavis was also at the wrong for, being very overprotective and making him seem like that he's so vulnerable and fragile.
So when's Wolfpup having a birthday party tonight? You wouldn't want to go miss that.
Dad, I love the Wolfpups, but they're a little too rough for us.
Ooh, rough?
I didn't notice Dennis is different.
What do you say? Denise said it shouldn't be around monsters?
So, it's true about what Mavis said, that the Wolfpups are, in fact, a little too rough for Dennis, but that's why she's there for her son. Just watch over your kid. Just make sure that he doesn't get hurt or whatever. You're here to supervise, and parents are supposed to be watching over their kids, and, you guys get what I'm saying, okay? I'm sorry, I have a hard time speaking. I don't really talk a lot more often. I'm really quiet, I'm really bad at explaining stuff, too. And also, yeah, it's true that Dennis is a bit different, because he's a human. I know at the end he ends up becoming a vampire, because, but it still doesn't change anything that she still, treats him, super vulnerable and whatever. And Dracula asks that Dennis shouldn't be around monsters. I mean, no one said he can't. He can still be around monsters. He just has to be careful. And the monsters around him also have to be careful around him. Just, be careful not to be too rough and stuff, You know what? There's, humans in the hotel. So I don't see what's the problem either. And then also, Dennis says
I love monster video. Yeah. Oh, you want to show your monster video? Yeah.
and then this show.
That
looks like a ripoff of Sesame Street.
Whoa, how is that a monster?
Remember, kids, a real monster always cares.
Shit, yes. When I think monsters, I think shit. Now let me tell you what a real monster is.
Dad, please, he's practically 5 already. Don't force it.
Okay, yeah. Mavis has a really good point on that. He is practically 5, and he shouldn't even be forcing him to, be something that he possibly isn't going to be. And yeah, Mavis was at the right on this scene. However, it's not bad that Dracula can still explain about, what monsters really are and stuff. What a real monster is, and, all this and all that, etc., etc. Despite him being human, he can still learn about, monsters and everything else, He is still practically part monster and human. He's half of everything. He's literally... Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to, make sure that title doesn't show up, and then the TV just, I don't know how to do this. Just don't worry about it. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. He can still learn about monsters and humans, a lot of things. He can still learn about so much, because those are his people. Those are his kind. And he has a right to, learn about them. Learn about all this and all that, if anything, just at least, rephrase some things if they sound a little too, Dennis can still learn a lot more about monsters and the human world at the same time, because he is both of everything. He's a child of both worlds, okay? He has a right. And you know what? I don't blame Dracula for being, pretty, annoyed and weirded out about this show. Ever since I was a kid, I actually found this very weird, too. I was like, you're not Elmo, and you're not the Muppets either. Even the Muppets and, Elmo and his friends would be a lot more better than you. That would be the only shows I would want to watch. Even the Cookie Monster is better than you.
I'm too old for lullabies. This is the way most people sing it.
Most people. What's wrong with suffer, suffer, screaming pain? Now this feeling from your brain. Come on, you know I say to you. Zombies more you like a plum. Hear sing cries and you succumb. Suffer, suffer, screaming pain. You will never breathe again.
Oh, no, you're not supposed to. No, don't ever sing that to your kid. That is not okay. That's just, I don't care if that's how, monsters, sing lullabies to their kid and stuff. Just no. As a kid, I didn't seem to have a problem with this lullaby. I was really, really liking the song. I was just this actually sounds better than the actual lullaby. The whole twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder. And, yeah, But when you grow up, and then you look at, the lyrics and listen to it very well, just no. But you know what? It's still a wholesome scene. It's just so adorable, This is really cute. Did you guys also notice, in, the scene, Dracula singing?
Suffer, suffer, screaming pain. You will never breathe again.
Even Adam Sandler was really trying his best not to laugh in this this scene while voice acting. Even I wouldn't take it so seriously either. Would you imagine me trying to sing that lullaby while voice acting in a movie? Just suffer, suffer, screaming pain, you will never breathe again. Yeah, I mean, it would be hard to take it very seriously. Yeah. Anyway, that's not part of the video, but I thought I should just mention about it.
I thought what you said, Dad. Neither was being a little overprotective.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to pause at the right time before Winnie does that. Anyway, let's just. Oh my god! Oh my god! No! Oh my god! Davis, no! Oh no! I apologize for that. I had to pause the video immediately, and just immediately stop laughing. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, we'll get back to the video right now. I was actually making the video, trying to record the scenes going on in there. Anyway, let's just talk about how Winnie charges up to tackles Dennis, and you know how it goes. Anyway, Mavis was able to handle that scene very well. She didn't overreact. She didn't freak out. In fact, she was actually slightly calm. Anyway, in the scene, Mavis noticed the game Limbo, and she says that she used to love that game when she was a kid. And then Dracula tells her, get in there. And then she tells him that, really, but I'm a parent now. And then he says, show them how it's done. And then, yeah, you know what? She shows them how it's done. Like, watch. Like, watch. Right here. See? Anyway, so in this part, this is something where, Dracula did not say to do. She was so quick to, like, immediately grab a stick and fly over there. And then Wanda tries to warn her that pinata is actually for later. However, oh, okay, that didn't pause at the right time. Okay, you know what? She starts hitting the pinata anyway. Probably didn't hear her or whatever. She was having way too much fun. She keeps on hitting pinata, sorry. And then Wanda tells her, too much sugar. But you know what she does? She breaks the pinata. And the kids are looking at the balloon, you know, the clown making balloon animals. And you know what? The kids are actually doing very well. They're really being well behaved in that party. They've actually been well behaved in the party ever since. Nothing bad happened. Until Mavis started hitting that pinata, and as soon as it broke. And yeah, this is what happens. They end up becoming a lot more hyper, and then boom, this happens.
I'm sorry, did I start all that?
In fact, you did, Mavis. However, Wayne is really trying to, like, tell her that there's a reason why they call it a litter. Dude, it doesn't matter. Your kids were actually doing very well. They were really well behaved in the party. However, Mavis just so happened to cause a scene. She caused this.
Don't worry, the reason I call it a litter.
And look, even the kids that he's holding, they're really chill. One's sleeping, one is just chilling there. And oh my gosh, she's so cute. Anyway, let's just focus on the scene though. Like, let me just tell you something. There's actually a specific scene where like Dennis is like really trying to attempt to like, you know, do the limbo, like trying to like, you know, trying to go underneath without touching the stick that is on fire. Oh no, hang on. Look. Sorry, I almost said Mavis. Dennis is almost got caught on fire because he's not really getting lower enough to like, you know, lower enough, like, you know what I'm trying to say. However, just on time as the wolf pups. Just in time for the wolf pups to like run over there and then, you know, this. I mean, he still got caught on fire, but you know, they're already going fast enough and the fire went out anyway. So technically, those wolf pups actually saved him from getting caught on fire. You know how scary that would have been and how traumatizing it would have been for Dennis? Those wolf pups actually saved his life. He would have ended up in the hospital and he would have dealt with severe burns on his his skin. I'm just gonna skip this scene. It's really not necessary. And yeah, he may have like face planted to the ground and stuff. And yeah.
Are you okay? I got a candy.
But he seems okay. Look at him. He looks so happy. He's so happy that he got candy. And yeah, you know, he doesn't seem like he's in pain. Although yeah, he's missing his tooth right now, but you know, look at him. He seems okay. He looks okay. He's happy. He's a happy kid. And then
What? Your tooth came out.
Are you kidding me? You got his tooth out?
oh, and anyway, she literally said that. Are you kidding me? He got his tooth knocked out. And then yeah, you know, I guess she was concerned and stuff. But you know what? That tooth could have been like loose or something. I don't know. But either way, Dennis looks like he's okay. So why? How come she's like already freaking out? Like, couldn't she have at least asked if he was hurt? Is he feeling any pain? That's what I would ask too. Because I wouldn't be too quick to assume.
Oh, yes, indeed. Here comes the pain.
Dad, his baby tooth wasn't a fang. Why would this one be? He's not a monster.
That's very true. But you know, I get it. Like, he lost a tooth when he like face planted it to the ground. However, he seemed okay. And look at him. He's happy. He's happy that his baby tooth fell out. It was probably already loose, and he's, you know, trying to like find a way to like either let it fall out or just leave it alone until it falls out. You know. And then he shows Winnie his missing tooth, and then Winnie shows her missing teeth. Do you know how adorable and wholesome this scene is? It's really cute. But then this had to happen.
The sun's gonna come out soon and we gotta get to his classes.
What's wrong with the classes we have here? Like the kids yoga?
Yeah. Dracula about the yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dennis is not that flexible, and of course he would immediately get torn apart already. Yeah. You know. Mavis actually has a point on that. The classes over here. Well, most likely yoga is more likely not a safe option for Dennis.
This is Dennis's home.
I don't know, Dad.
What don't you know?
I know that Mavis is talking about moving and that it's only for the best for Dennis, just, you know, to keep him safe and whatever. But look, of all the other places, just let me show you.
Well, we've been talking about moving. Somewhere safer for Dennis. Maybe we're going to work in
California. California? Of all the other places around the world, at least there's like some places that have to be a lot more safer. Sure, there's no such thing as a safe place in this world. But California? That's what you chose just because Johnny lived there his entire life? Are you serious? Look, people, if you live in California, just immediately explain how it is over there. I'm pretty sure you can prove my point. Like, it doesn't matter where in California. I know damn well it's not safe over there either. Actually, my auntie went over there, you know, just to be away from her ex boyfriend, but then now they ended up becoming together. Yeah, but you know, it was her decision to make. I'm not happy about it, but Mom tells me that it's none of our business and we shouldn't, you know, yeah. But anyway, let's get back to the movie.
I'm sorry, but you can't just make somebody something they're not. Come on, honey, we have to go. Sing, sing.
Baby, wait. You can't mean that.
Now look, she has a point. She only wants what's best for her kid. But, you know, of all the other places, she could have at least moved somewhere else. Somewhere else that actually is safer. Why didn't Johnny just tell her about like everything in California, like how it is over there, like, you know. He should have told her like the dangers over there, like, you know. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know what? She looks good in that hat, but it really does not match her outfit at all. And I don't think a simple hat would even protect her from the sun at all. Because just because she put sunscreen on her face isn't gonna like protect her like her whole body from everything. She obviously needs to wear something else better than that. Because basically, yeah, you're gonna need more than just sunscreen and a hat, Mavis. Because if you're gonna be awake during the time and, you know, you start your day and whatever, yeah, you need serious protection. Serious protection. However, let's just get back to the movie again.
Good morning, Alice. Good evening. It's not definite at all. Just don't you talk about it. Enjoy your time. It's been nice.
Yeah, he actually does not want to like move to California, like move back to California, but also he doesn't want Dennis to live there either. You know, that. And also in the scene where Dracula is
Dad, it's not a thing. Dad, I don't know if it's right there. It's right, Johnny. Oh, yeah, do that. It's not me. It's maybe. Hey, do that. I'm afraid to say anything.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny is absolutely scared to say anything at all. In fact, he shouldn't even be afraid to tell her anything. Because, like, as soon as they move to California and then Dennis starts his new life over there, yeah, he's definitely not gonna like it over there. His life is gonna be really hard. You know, this. Anyway. Trying to make it more human-y in a hotel just because Dennis is a monster. It sounds really ridiculous. And the fact that they're gonna move away, it doesn't make sense. Why would you even try to, like, make it more human-y? Because, like, not everything is always about the humans. I mean, sure, you can make it a little bit more, a little bit, but, you know, some humans need to accept things are just different and stuff, you know. Johnny actually likes the hotel, and he really says that he can be himself over here, and that he never felt so alive ever since that they invented stuffed crust pizza. No, he didn't say that Hotel Transylvania invented stuffed crust pizza. That would actually be really confusing. I'm pretty sure that there's, like, some people who even like it over there in Hotel Transylvania because it makes them feel a little bit more safer than how they are at home or in other places where, like, they actually feel accepted instead of judged and mistreated. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? In fact, I would want to go over there. I would love to go to Hotel Transylvania. I could, like, sure, I might be a little bit frightened about, like, some of the monsters and spiders and whatever, but hey, at least I'll feel accepted. No, I'm not having that kind of problem at home. I'm just saying that, you know, I would feel a little bit more comfortable and stuff, you know, just be myself.
Oh, that human stuff, that's confusing. So maybe I'm gonna get around more monster replays. I can't. She's always around. She's not on me. You just get some alone time. Wait a minute. That's what Johnny wants to do. Alone time with babies. I didn't have a vacation before they were married. We're going to now. And so are we. Frank, you're a genius.
Let's ignore this part. Anyway, yeah, he talks about, like, how, like, the human stuff is, like, confusing Dennis, and then Frankenstein suggests that he should get Dennis to more of the monster things, but then Dracula tells him that Mavis was always there to check up on him, and that he can't do that. And he also tells Dracula that maybe if he can just get some alone time, and then that's where Dracula gets the idea, where, like, he immediately realizes that that's what Johnny wants too, alone time with Mavis. And then also Frankenstein talks about, like he literally asked if, like, have they had a vacation before they were even married? What do you mean they never had a vacation before they were married? What the hell were they doing this whole time? Did they not go to Hawaii? Mavis always wanted to go to Hawaii. How come she didn't go? How did she not go to Hawaii? Like, are you serious? Like, all those years and yet she didn't go? Yeah, that's just upsetting. Anyway, I'm just gonna skip this scene. It's very long.
We'll take Denise to all our old homes. Each of us will show him our skills. Teach him how to be a monster. And he'll be staying it out in no time.
Yeah. How long ago even was this? Like, do they just, how come they not just, like, label, like, the days, like days later or a week later and this and that? Like, they literally say that Dennis turns 5 next week, and that if he's not a vampire by the time of his birthday, then yeah. You know, all that. Anyway, I'm gonna skip ahead to, like, some, like, certain scenes. Sorry, I was standing up too close to the TV the entire time, and I needed to, like, sit down, so I zoomed in, and yeah. Anyway, so Dracula tells Johnny to, like, go ahead and go visit California and see if it's the right place for Dennis and, you know, that and stuff.
It does seem like that. We can just take Dennis with us.
Are you kidding me? And Dennis off his routine? No. You can go to California and see if it's the right place to raise Dennis.
And you remember how to do your job?
Yes, we found any buttons in the attic.
Thanks for being so understanding now. I know that you can.
Of course, baby. Stay by heart and hope to die.
I'm just gonna miss him so much. I love you, Dennis. I love you.
Oh, this is so cute. Okay, sorry, I'm moving my phone a lot. Anyway, yeah. So she is literally always next to Dennis a lot, and yeah, you know, Mavis is in fact pretty much overprotective when it comes to, like, her son, and I wouldn't blame her either, but yeah, you know. Anyway, we're gonna focus on other things. I never realized how beautiful this scene is, actually. I never really paid attention to that part.
This is gonna be so amazing.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna be so happy, but not too happy. What?
Johnny,
I want to see everything you did growing up.
As long as you're distracted, Peach.
dude, shut up.
We can do spots all the way with my parents.
Why don't you just quickly call?
Oh, don't do that. It's only one there. Dennis isn't even up yet.
Right. Just not used to being away from him.
Everything's gonna be cool. Your dad was so all over it.
I know. He's the best.
See, you know how she said that she's not used to being away from him? Yeah. Unless she meant by, like, far away in California, and then her son is supposedly at the hotel. Yeah, unless if that's what she meant. However, if she just so happens to be next to him and always watching his every move and now and then, like, you know, not being able to trust Johnny or even her own father or anybody, then yeah, that's practically overprotectiveness. If you guys bother on trying to, like, you know, trying to correct me or anything, sure, that's fine. Or you have something else to say, I'll be fine with it. Just try not to sound so mean about it or anything. Anyway, look, I wish we can, like, talk about the scenes in, like, you know, where Dracula and his buddies are teaching him how to, like, be a monster and stuff. But right now, let's focus on, like, you know, them being at California. So,
This place is so amazing and scenic. What do you want to show me first?
I don't know. It's pretty, but there's really nothing to do once it gets started.
Good. What's that place?
okay, so the first thing she sees, like, of all the other places, and her only main focus was this place. I mean, okay, sure. I mean, well, it's her technically first time being out a lot, so, like, it's her first time being in California, so I guess I wouldn't exactly blame her, but yeah. Anyway,
So you're telling me that I can pick all these different kinds of chips? How do people decide?
well, yeah, that's actually true. How do people decide? Well, it depends on, like, what they've tried and what they didn't try, and, you know, what flavors they like and what flavors they don't like. You know, there's always different kinds of flavors of these chips and snacks and whatever. And yeah, I guess it's pretty much exciting for Mavis, and I guess I wouldn't blame her either. But that's not the problem. That's not the problem we're gonna talk about. Anyway, let's just talk about this scene here.
Whoa. Now, what's that beautiful fountain of rubies? Johnny, have you tried this latte?
Not that quickly, huh?
It comes in 48 flavors. We haven't tried them all.
Yeah, she's literally trying these drinks without even paying. And no one bothered to stop her or anything. Not even Johnny, and not even the worker, the guy. Like, literally, they're not doing anything. They're not even doing anything to correct her. And they're just letting her just, you know, do what she wants and whatever. Like, if I were Johnny, I would have immediately told her, wait, Mavis, don't. We have to pay first. We can't just immediately start drinking them. And then, yeah. I don't know whether, like, they had to, like, pay, like, like pay for the cup or like the cup itself, which would probably be like maybe $1 or somewhere. But since that she's having like a lot of drinks, like how many is there? Like hang on, how many even is there? How many? Hang on, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, or wait, oh, damn, I'm so stupid. She said 48 flavors. Yeah. I apologize for that. Anyway, I can't believe that Johnny didn't even bother to say anything to her. But you know what? Just like what Dracula said, Johnny is too afraid to say anything. So of course he wouldn't be correcting her and stuff. I wouldn't be afraid to tell her anything. In fact, if this is her first time being over here, I'd actually immediately tell her and correct her about this. Like you're not, no, you can't drink those yet. You can't drink them yet. You gotta pay first before you even, yeah. And then, man, that's just harsh. That's really harsh. Does anyone ever just like take the shift or anything, like take his place or whatever? Do they even have breaks? Is he the only guy working here? Because that would be really concerning. Look at him. He looks so tired and exhausted. I feel bad for the guy. And then all Mavis can do is just giggle. And then I guess this is still her first time, like, being over here. She doesn't know, like, what cameras are. Like, there's actually different kinds of cameras, but, here. This is actually pretty cute. And then him. I guess there's, like, sometimes he's actually pretty happy. But, yeah, I still feel bad for the guy. However, probably, someone who's watching the camera probably is, I don't know how they would react, but overall, if I ever did that, I kind of would have been embarrassed, too. Yeah. Johnny did not even feel comfortable with the fact that, the security camera and this and that, and, Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Wait, stop coming up. Look at these cute kids. Holy rabies. This is like a blast.
I don't know, maybe it's pretty dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. Of course, I rock this way.
Okay, so Johnny actually made a point. It can be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, and then yet.
Baby, this is like a blast.
And
I don't know, maybe it's pretty dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
she just had to look at him like that. She just had to. Like, aren't you the one who's being all worried about, like, Dennis not being safe around, like, the monsters and stuff, and, and just, all this and all that, etc., etc. I mean, yeah, it looks fun, but you need to, like, learn how to ride a bike, and you need to know what you're doing in order to, even be playing at this skate park or whatever, biking. And this is an example. Look, just watch.
Check it out. Oh yeah, this is how it rolls every summer.
Yeah, look, she may look very concerned and everything about Johnny getting hurt, and yeah, that bike got destroyed, and then the kid is really sad. Like, dude, you just broke a kid's bike. What's wrong with you? You didn't just scratch it, you destroyed it. Imagine if the parents were there, they would have immediately go off at Johnny. That would have been really, really bad. And then Mavis, Mavis goes ahead and borrows a bike, and yeah,
Well, I'll give it a try.
she borrowed the bike from a little girl, and I think the kids probably should have been like a little concerned that if she might do the same thing as Johnny did. However,
You know now? That's my girlfriend, suckers. My wife, even better.
That was sick, lady. Where did you learn how to do that stuff? Transylvania. That's cool. I have a cousin from Pennsylvania.
Mavis did all of that in Transylvania. She learned how to do that, and yet she still got bored from her own home. Like, she did a lot of cool stuff, and yet she wanted to go out. That's crazy. And also, this little girl says that she has a friend at Pennsylvania. Yeah, she must have been. She probably wasn't really. She probably didn't know what Transylvania was. And yeah, Pennsylvania and Transylvania aren't exactly the same. But that's nice to know. You got a little friend at Pennsylvania.
Oh, these little guys are so sweet. Dennis would love them. What an awesome place to raise a kid.
Oh, raise a kid. I know. Awesome. Baby, too, lawyer. Fish?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's some kids that are just gonna be mean or nice or whatever. Who knows how it is? But I wouldn't say it's like a great place to raise a kid, unless just unless you're watching over them and stuff, and just make sure that they're careful. Yeah, that should have been a sign from like that Johnny is saying that I don't know about awesome, maybe even tubular, and then he says capiche for whatever reason. And yeah, anyway, for the next scene,
Okay, buddy. See you in the car.
we'll talk about the scene later.
Well, gosh, welcome you two.
Hey, gang.
Hi, guys. This is so exciting. Oh, look at all of this. So cool. Wow, I can't believe I'm actually here. Well, you are. Yeah, now this up all night and sleep all day.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she does in fact does that. However, Mavis then tells Linda that
Oh, I'll do everything.
Mavis tells them that she'll do whatever they want and whatever, just you go to bed at night and then you wake up during the day and you just start your day. I actually love like these family photos. I hope some of you at least saw them. Oh my god, I feel bad for Johnny in this one. And oh my gosh, this one is so cute. No wonder. And you know what? He almost looks just like Dennis when he actually looks just like Dennis. However, his hair isn't like as curly as Dennis. I'd say it's more likely a wavy hair, but also more likely it looks just a little messy. And oh, look at this one. It's cute. Anyway, so Linda talks about.
Good. Can I got this pretty sunny for you? But I'm not this bunch of
Yeah, that's really nice of her, That's really nice of her. She gets her hat and then she gets this to, like, be safe, because she's really concerned about, like, since Mavis is going to be up during the day, just starting a new routine. And, yeah, that's really nice of her. And then Mike goes ahead and says that,
We can deal with it later.
okay, yeah, yeah, they can actually deal with it later, because, like, there's actually other ways. There's actually other things that Mavis can wear to just protect her from the sun, But also sometimes when it's not so sunny out, she'll be safe, but, better safe than sorry, I wouldn't be going out if I was, like, technically allergic to the sun or something, unless without protection, Oh, hang on. Let me just show you something. my cat, this is Fiona. She was really carrying this toy, and this is Sarah's toy. Anyway, she has kittens. I'd say like 4 kittens.
And you know what? They are so cute. They like to walk around and play and yeah. Every now and then they need to get out of the cage because they can't always be out. They can't always be out and stuff, you know, just to because my little sister can in fact be a bit rough with them. And then we also have other cats at home and we don't want them to like, you know, be rough with them either, and you know. But my other cat, there's this one certain cat, he's actually really, really mean to the kittens. He does not like them. My other cat actually is in fact very gentle. Not exactly gentle. He's really nice to the kittens. However, he plays too rough with them, so yeah. Oh yeah, let's get back to the video.
Okay, that's not really necessary. That really didn't need to be necessary. That's not okay. Like, yeah, she lives in Hotel Transylvania, but the decorations are really not necessary. And the fact that there's a box over there, that's a box with like, I don't know, like other cushions and blankets over there to make a bed or whatever. They kind of like buy a bed and just move it over there, you know, this and that. And the fact that they're not sleeping at the same bed is crazy. Just look at their expressions.
It's just like Transylvania.
Yeah, that's nothing like Transylvania. In fact, that's pretty offensive.
Oh, Transylvania. That was a fun experience. Mike was ready to disavow the and I told him to just being silly.
That was you, Linda.
Of course that would be Linda. Of course that would be Linda. Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if she means to, but literally, Linda is so racist and so disrespectful. It's really horrible. And the fact that pumpkin is still screaming in the background, imagine that Mavis goes to sleep in that room and that pumpkin just still happens to keep on screaming and screaming. You know what I would do to that pumpkin? I would immediately start smashing it and throwing it out of the window. Like bitch, shut up. Yeah, but you know, I think Mavis would react a little bit more better than I did. Because we're not the same person.
Oh, there you are. You know we have a couple of mixed families in the neighborhood, so I thought I'd invite them over. Maybe ask you guys to talk to you since you're thinking about moving here. Hi, Darren. Hi, Amber. Welcome, Mavis.
Hey guys. Yeah, you're gonna dig it here. Don't even worry. People are totally cool with their lifestyle choice.
I mean, the kids get a little bit tough as well.
It does not toughen them up. What is wrong with these parents who are like that? Like, and buddy, I'm not just talking about mixed families or monsters. I'm talking about a lot of parents who literally like literally their kid is getting bullied in school or getting picked on, but all they can go on and be like is that, oh, it toughens them up, they'll be okay. No, that is not okay. That is definitely not okay. And the fact that there's like schools that this happens in schools and the teachers don't even do anything about it is horrible. This is something that we need to talk about, and this is definitely a sign where moving over here is not a great idea. And yeah, sure, maybe Hotel Transylvania is not entirely the brightest, but at least it's not as bad as over here. Anyway, this part.
Okay, you guys, this is the way that she's married to Paul, who's a werewolf.
Excuse me?
You guys are telling me about the other monster human couples in town.
I am not a werewolf.
Yeah, she just immediately assumed that he's a werewolf just because he has long hair and a long beard. That's crazy. And you know how she says that they have like that the town has like a bunch of mixed families? By mixed families, I'm pretty sure they were talking about in race. Like them. Oh my god, I don't know what happened. Okay, what the heck? Why did they do that? Yeah, let me just pause this real quick. I'll be right back. And the fact that Linda doesn't immediately apologize or anything, take accountability for like, you know, immediately assuming that he's like a werewolf when actually he's not a werewolf at all. He's just happens to be like hairy and stuff. Dude, even his wife is just so pissed. I can tell from her expression. And I'm surprised that like these two aren't even like, you know, they don't seem to like have a problem with this or something, you know. However, instead of apologizing or anything, she does this.
Mom, stay has the big
Obviously, no. I would immediately left too. And the fact that she's just smiling the whole time is crazy. That's just crazy. And I'm surprised that Mike, where is Mike? Anyway, where the hell is your husband? It's crazy how Mike didn't even stop her or did anything. Like, dude, that was really not okay and was really not acceptable. And that is obviously another sign where moving over here is not a great idea. Then in this scene, in the house, they were like dancing to to a song called, I think it's like called The Monster Mash. You know, this. And then Mavis and Donnie happened to be on the roof. You know what? They should have like added more scenes to like what happened, like what is going on. Like, you know, as they're like visiting his parents and stuff. There should have been more scenes to this because, yeah. Anyway.
Sorry about all that stuff. I guess they thought you'd like it.
Why do I feel so weird here?
No, hun, they're being weird.
And he's right. They are being weird. Like, they literally had no right to be like doing that. It's most likely Linda, but I'm pretty sure a lot of everyone needs to be held accountable because they didn't do anything about it. They didn't stop Linda for you know, this. And then Mavis says this.
I think they're just trying to help me. I mean, I grew up knowing nothing living inside that hotel, and you learned about everything growing up in Santa Claus.
Stickers, but
She thinks that they're trying to help her, but reality, I mean that could be true, but they really are doing a horrible job at it. And I'm surprised that Mavis doesn't even say anything at all. And then Johnny was able to correct her about like the town or probably a city, Santa Cruz. And then yeah, he tried to say something else, but I'm pretty sure he can't you know, speak it out or whatever. And then Mavis says something like this, that if Dennis heard this, he would have been absolutely devastated. He would absolutely be upset.
Maybe if Dennis grows up away from Transylvania, it won't be so freaky. Like me.
That is really upsetting. I really can't believe that Mavis would ever say something like that. I get how she's feeling, but that's something she shouldn't even be saying at all, especially about his son. Her son. What is, sorry, my mouth. I'm having a hard time. I just don't speak a lot, okay? I don't talk a lot. I don't talk very much more often. Anyway, yeah, she shouldn't have said that. That, if her son ever heard her say that, I know damn well he would have been really sad. I would have been sad if I heard my mom say that about me and about her. I'm pretty sure she said some things like that and even behind my back. But, you know, let's not talk about my parents because, you know, this is not what the video is about, obviously. Like, I wish I could tell you guys more about my life, but it's not easy. Trust me. Anyway, in this scene,
Are you nuts? Mavis, you're a blast. You're so full of life, curious about everything. If Dennis grows up to be just like you, I'll be the luckiest dad in the world.
I love you, Johnny Stein. You know what? As long as we're all together, we'll be happy anywhere, even at the hotel.
See this. I'm glad that she's like finally like understanding that just like as long as they're both together, they can be like anywhere they want to be, especially the hotel. Meaning that she's planning on staying at Hotel Transylvania, and Johnny is so happy about it. Mostly either because well, I don't know how to say it. I'm pretty sure Mavis doesn't entirely want to leave either, but it's for the sake of her son. But also, yeah, she does want to go out more often. I wouldn't blame her either. And then at the very bad timing.
What are you doing?
Whoa, Dan's video my friend sent me. This kid is an awesome daredevil.
Oh, dude, is that this?
Yeah, that was really bad timing. So I'm not gonna go to the scenes. I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about like how Dracula was very much at the wrong for like all that happening. Literally throwing him off a tower to like help him fly, and then he later on realized, you know what, he ain't gonna fly, and then he immediately catches him. Thank goodness he got him before he landed to the ground. And then the kids were literally recording the scene happening. That's horrible. That's horrible. And all they're doing is like literally being happy about it, like just smiling while they're like recording this scene happening. It's crazy. And then you know, Dracula and that guy, I don't know his name, whatever. Yeah, they got into a fight, and you know what? That guy was actually very right to like get mad at him, like tell him that was dangerous and that he can't report child endangerment. And yeah, you know, and he has to follow protocol. He's just trying to like you know, keep the kids safe and stuff. He's just doing his job, and Dracula just had to be so mean to him. Like, man, I feel bad for him. Like that guy is super nice. He seems like a really nice guy, and just yet he had to be horrible to him just because the camp isn't how it is when he was a kid, when he was younger. Times change, and for the better. Yeah. Anyway, let's skip ahead.
Yes, I'm fine. We're outside the hotel having a little cookout. It's perfectly safe.
What's that noise? Is that siren?
Oh, those are just some wailing banshees checking in. Why do We're trying to have a perfectly safe cookout over here.
Mommy, I want to say hi. Mommy,
Is that another?
Oh, yeah, you know, he was only just trying to do his job, and then, yeah, that literally did not have to be necessary. But, you know, it just so happened. It just had to happen, and, you know, Dracula's really trying to, like, pretend that they're actually at the hotel and things are fine and whatever, and then Dennis comes up and wants to go see his mom, which is very wholesome. It's adorable, but that was a really bad timing. And, yeah, you know.
I'm going back to the hotel right now, and you better be there, or I swear down, you're going to be very sorry.
Mavis had every right to be angry in this scene, because the fact that she saw the video, I would have been pissed too.
We got no car.
Yeah, I would have been pissed too. However, there's something that she's at the very wrong at.
Transylvania.
You want to go there?
Transylvania, as soon as possible.
We don't fly direct to Transylvania.
You don't?
You can go to Bucharest, but you'll have to switch planes in Chicago and then Zurich.
So when will we get there?
Well, the Chicago flight's delayed due to bad weather.
She did not have to do that. The lady is just trying to do her job. She's just doing her job, and she's literally just telling her that the Chicago plane is like canceled due to bad weather. Mavis did not have to react that way to her. She did not have to like react that way to her. She's just doing her job, and she's just telling her that the plane that you know what I'm talking about. And I'm surprised how she just didn't react when that happened. Just like watch.
You can go to Bucharest, but you'll have to switch planes in Chicago and then Zurich.
So when will we get there?
Well, the Chicago flight's delayed due to bad weather.
Like look at her. It's like that she's either dealt with this before or that she's already dealing with worse, and yeah, she's like tired of her job or whatever. I don't know whatever's going on with her. Whatever's going on with her, Mavis in fact did not have to react that way, and she literally did not have to do that. That was so unnecessary. That was really unnecessary. It was definitely not okay. And I'm pretty sure like the people around her, like in the background, they were like really terrified and stuff. And I probably would imagine Johnny's reaction when that happened.
No.
No.
So she flies up to they ended up like flying. She ends up turning to a bed and start flying to Transylvania. I'm even surprised that like probably like so many hours of flying, and she makes it to the hotel before like the sun rises. And yeah, she literally got her stuff on. However, scary thing, her hat fell, but she still keeps on flying. I guess the only thing she could focus on is like checking up on her son. You know, making sure if that he's okay or something. That if they actually are at the hotel, you know. She really flew all the way from California to Hotel Transylvania for her son, literally risking her life. Like, she literally made it before the sun even rises. Do you know how scary that could have been? At this one, she's actually at the right. The one thing that she's not at the right is like getting mad at the flight attendant. Like, you know, she didn't have to like literally react that way to her. She didn't even have to do that. That wasn't okay. Anyway, let's just skip all the way to yeah. No, I'm not gonna show that video. I'm actually getting really sick and tired of seeing that every single time.
I was worried Dennis wasn't safe around other monsters.
Look at him. Look how he was just like smiling at his mom, happy to see her, and then immediately frowns as soon as she said that she was worried Dennis wasn't safe around other monsters. And then
Now I don't even feel like he's safe around you.
But I was
What was it he said? Human, monster, unicorn, that it didn't matter.
What? I just know he's...
yeah, they're both actually at the wrong for like certain things happening. What Mavis said, just like she said what she said. However, yeah, she's right about like that Dennis is probably not really safe around Dracula, and Dracula was very wrong for like, you know, all of that happening. And then she talks about how like, what was it you said? Human, monster, unicorn, that it didn't matter. And then he says that I just know that his life would, and then he gets interrupted. Yeah, she interrupts him. I know exactly what he was going to say. He said that I just know his life would be better over here. But
We'll have his birthday party here on Wednesday. Then we're moving.
Please, maybe. Don't leave.
Maybe you'd let humans into your hotel town. But I don't think you'd let them into your house.
I can't believe Mavis still thinks that her father hates humans after like ever since like the first movie. Ever since like he went to the human world to go like get Johnny and get him back to Hotel Transylvania because he found out that Mavis zinged. That was her zing, and Johnny also felt the same for her. And, you know, and as soon as that him and his buddies went out, and then humans discovered that they're actual monsters, they cheered. They were happy. They love monsters. You know, they love them. And also, you remember that one scene where like Frankenstein said, "That guy right there is the real Dracula. Prove it." The guy said, and then you know, Dracula mind controls him and just hits that coffee mug on him, and then he went back to normal and was like, "Okay, continue." I mean, yeah. the people who are dressed up as vampires pull out their capes and make like a shade for Dracula to get to like the airport and stuff. And as he runs over there, the people around him are cheering for him and saying that they love him. And you could see like the smile on his face, just how happy he was. And you're telling me he still hates humans? That's crazy. Dracula, I know you don't hate humans, but you were still very much at the wrong for like trying to force Dennis to be like something that he possibly wasn't going to be. And even if he wasn't going to be born a monster, yeah, you know, it's really upsetting. Like, aren't Dracula and Johnny like friends? Like so much more than just in-laws. They're like buddies. They're friends. Have you seen them in the first movie? They were like best buds. They were bros. Okay, that was pretty weird for me saying that coming from a girl's mouth. You guys know what I mean, right? Anyway, as Mavis is packing up.
Dennis, what are you doing, sweetie? Nothing. Careful. Let me help you down for me.
Do you know how he was like really trying his best to turn into a bat? And then later on, Mavis asked what he's doing. He says nothing. Yeah, you know. And then
Are you getting excited about the big party? I guess so. You know who's coming? Daddy's whole family. Grandpa Mike and Grandma Linda, all your cousins against uncles. We love you so much. And then they're gonna be with us when we go to California. Mommy, are we going away? But I'm not a monster. What? No, Dennis, of course not. It's just grown-up stuff.
yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, sure, it could be, but at the same time, do you like understand the situation, like everything around Dennis? You know, a lot of things going on around Dennis. It's really upsetting, and yeah, you know, let's just continue on.
Okay, but what about Papa Jack? He's gonna be here all alone. Papa Jack has to stay here around the hotel, but he'll visit us. We'll visit him. Can we call him every night? Sure.
Anyway, yeah, let's just get to the next scene. This one actually is well, really upsetting.
Why do you want to leave? This place is out of control. We don't want to leave. All these awesome freakazoids. So who's the coolest monster? Kinky.
That's just so mean. He like, I don't know if this is his first time meeting his cousins, but either way, that is just so mean. The fact that his cousins are like literally making fun of him just because he has a favorite monster and it turns out to be just not exactly a real monster, and it's, you know, a puppet that is from a TV show. Yeah, that's just horrible. That is just mean. They did not have to do that. And look at him, he's really sad. Do you think he wants to move out of Hotel Transylvania? No, he doesn't. This is his mom's decision, and yeah. And now we're gonna talk about Linda. We're gonna just talk about Linda. No, wait, no. Hang on, there's actually something else.
I never did ask how you lost your mom. Oh, she was killed by Avery humans.
Sorry. Okay, I'm fine. Sorry about that. I don't know, just air bubble. I think I was an air bubble. So just how Mavis said that so casually, and then yeah, and then this guy said awkward, and Dracula expression, and then there's Mavis. Yeah, I would react the same way too if yeah. Anyway.
But there is my grandpa. Oh, man, huh? Yeah, he'll be at the party. I invited him.
You invited him?
Yeah, he's never seen Dennis. I wanted him to meet us before we go.
I don't understand why. Didn't like Dracula already warned her, and yet she still invited him? Really, Mavis? You know what? In fact, at this point, Mavis is just causing a lot of problems, and instead of taking accountability for it, she just goes ahead and blame it on someone else, like most likely on her dad, because yeah, you know, sure there's actually times that he does something bad. However, Mavis doesn't take any accountability of her own actions, like at all. Like the things that she caused, it's most likely her. Like the thing at the party, and then at Dennis's party, the cruise, and bitch, don't even get me started in the fourth movie. None of that would happen if she just wasn't eavesdropping, and if only she just kept her mouth shut. It's not entirely Johnny's or Dracula's fault. This was most likely Mavis's fault to begin with. Sorry for myself cursing. I know you guys never heard me curse, but at some point I'm just gonna curse, okay? I don't like cursing, but I can't help it. So, yeah.
Yeah, right, gang. We're gonna make birthday a monster masquerade party.
Really? Oh, that's lovely. Sort of like a monster before Dennis gets to be with normal people.
I could have said it.
Actually, Dracula, you could have said it a lot more better than Linda did, because, like, literally, she just had to say that. Even Johnny would say it more better than she did. Like, what the hell? Why is no one correcting her? Why does no one say anything? Anyway, don't even get me started in this scene. Watch. Yeah, by the look of her expression, how come she didn't say anything to Linda? Like, she should have said something. Even they should have said something. Because I'm pretty sure that they know damn well what Linda is doing is really not okay at all. Yeah, anyway, and then in this scene.
You're lucky we don't call this authority. It's cool, my hero. Because I'm Batman. Yeah, it's totally the Batmobile. You're lucky by girl, Batman.
And then, thank goodness when he did this.
Yeah, whatever. Am I about to cry?
Yeah, you know what? Those boys had no right to even be picking on Dennis at all. Like, that's their cousin. That's their cousin, and yet they're just being so mean to him. And the fact that they have to be at least older than them is crazy, and it's embarrassing. Like, imagine picking on a little kid who is literally younger than you. It's so horrible. And I can't believe Mavis didn't even do anything about it. All she did was just stand there watching, and then went on feeling sorry for him. Like, dude, I would have immediately told them, hey, knock it off. Don't be talking to my kid like that. Don't even be treating him like that. And I would go to whoever's the parents, like whoever is like the mom or the dad or whatever. You know, just yeah, I would immediately go up to them and tell them exactly what is happening, what their kid is doing to my kid. Like, you ain't gonna pick on my kid. You ain't gonna pick on my boy. You're not gonna bully him. That's not gonna happen. No, not on my watch. Like, I'm really shocked that Mavis isn't even doing anything to defend him from these two. Like, I don't care if they're kids. I don't care if they're just kids. So is he!
Everyone, have a seat. Dennis has a big surprise for you. The one and only Cakey the Cake Monster.
Hey, Dennis, it's me, Cakey. What a wonderful cakey day it is. Now, I have a question. Do you love cake?
Yeah. I feel really bad for Dennis over here. And the fact that they're all looking at him just so angrily. Dude, that's just his favorite thing. Why are you getting all mad at him and making fun of him just for liking something that he enjoys? Like, even Blobby likes Cakey. Like, look at him. Look how happy he is. And then watch this scene. Just watch. I feel bad for the guy in the suit, like in the mascot.
Can I have a seat, Manager, please? This isn't working for me.
Look how scared he is.
You feeling anything? Any change?
Is Kiki okay?
And then look at Blobby! Poor Blobby, no! And the monsters around him, the monsters over there even look terrified too. They look absolutely scared. I would have been really terrified as well. I would have been like, oh hell no, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Sorry about that. Sorry. I'm really, really sorry. Anyway.
I don't remember any of this from the TV show.
I think I saw it on Blu-ray disc stuff.
I think, well, either as an excuse or maybe if possibly he saw that. Maybe behind the scenes, the behind the scenes, the guy said that. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe something somewhere. Yeah. And then Mavis noticed that her grandfather is up on stage. He literally doesn't even try to hide. He's really noticeable over there. Like, dude. Oh my god. Why did I pause that? Why did I pause? Why did I pause like that? Oh my god. Look at that. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Anyway. I think those boys had it coming.
What is happening, man? I'm out of here. Nobody's parents that review this on Yelp.
And the fact that Dracula immediately stopped it happening. You know what? I saw a deleted scene when he was a kid. Oh my gosh. It's really heartbreaking. I think I can find a link to it and then send it in comments and then you guys can see it for yourselves. I don't think I'm ever gonna put that clip on a video. I mean I could, but yeah, anyway.
Hey, what did you do? A few more seconds and it gets right now. I don't care. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It was my last attempt to make the boy a vampire, so you stay.
Like ruining his favorite thing? How could you do that?
You were desperate.
You were in on this?
Dennis will be happy in my town.
Dennis hasn't been there.
I can't believe this. Johnny has lived there his entire life, and instead of taking his advice, she literally goes ahead and says that Dennis hasn't been there. Dude, you literally been there. Oh, you've already been there, and you've seen a lot of stuff enough. Like the evidence are overwhelming. That is not a great place for Dennis to stay in. He won't even. It's true. He won't even like it over there. And then I was thinking too.
This is not a monster.
Yeah. Vlad. Sorry, I had to hear that, but apparently, yeah, he's not a monster. And then
He likes avocado.
Because you don't want to be anything fun.
so technically, he's on a strict diet or something, and she literally. I think you guys get the point. It's the fact that she says that he likes avocado, and then he says because you don't let him eat anything fun. Yeah, I mean, I get that she's trying to have him be healthy and stuff, but at least every once in a while, let him enjoy some other foods. Yeah, every once in a while, just no, it's not okay for kids to be eating unhealthy foods like chips or other things, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily have to stay on a strict diet and stuff like that. Not getting to eat other delicious foods and stuff. Stuff like that. And then Linda has the fucking audacity to say,
I think Dennis just wants to be normal. Can we stop using the word normal?
right? The word normal doesn't even exist. There's no such thing as normal because everything, and including back in those days, a very long time ago, maybe so many centuries, oh my goodness, so many things were very normalized. People were just okay with it. People just were absolutely used to it. They didn't seem to have a problem with what's wrong with things going on and stuff. They didn't have common sense. Nobody had common sense. I mean, pretty sure there's some of them that had common sense, but now it's not like that anymore. These days, there's people who have common sense. However, yeah, you guys know exactly what's going on around the world. And then these dumbass leaders, I'm pretty sure not all of them, but you guys know what I'm saying. And then you can see how really sad Dennis is. And then in the background, and while he's running away,
Where we live now, he's normal.
He is what he is, and you can't change him, Dad.
look at that. They're not even paying attention to him, and Winnie's the only one that noticed. It's just really, really depressing. I wouldn't even be shocked if that later on in the future, Dennis had to go to therapy because all of this happening. And he can't help but remember all of this happening, and despite it was already over with, yeah. I'm sorry, hang on. Sorry, I needed a moment. Anyway, let's just get to the scene, and,
Stop being my grandson wouldn't have to be outlived his whole life. I should be owed. Oh, yeah? I mean, be cool. You want to throw an arrow, man? Certified yellow belt since 1997. Oh, what's this now? You're not a vampire? Blair? Of course he's human. He's our son. You think we're monsters? You let your daughter marry a human and have a human kid? Why don't you just put a stent through my heart?
damn, not the guilt tripping. Not the damn freaking guilt tripping. All right, what is with parents doing that? What is with a lot of people doing that? That is, just look at Dracula, for gosh sakes. Man, that's really, 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 really upsetting. This is really sad. However,
We don't hate humans anymore, and they don't hate us. Humans? Wow! You're a fool. Your great-grandson is the sweetest, kindest, most special boy I ever met. And if you can't give him the love he deserves because he's half human, then you're the fool.
Oh, Daddy.
the fact that when Dracula said that, she immediately realizes that you know what I'm trying to say. He always loved Dennis. He just all of that. The moment Mavis immediately realized that she was absolutely so overprotective, and in the moment that she realizes that how she just assumed that despite everything he still hated humans, but in reality he didn't. He's yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know how he said to his father, yeah, and then he later on starts having kind of a change of heart, which is actually that's actually pretty interesting. And then later on,
Hey, where is Dennis? Dennis?
the fact that they just now realized is crazy.
Dennis in it.
He's not in the room. He's not that fool.
That was Masu. Where could he be?
I don't know why everybody do.
Okay, I mean, she has a point on that she has a point on getting mad at him. However, she literally needs to take accountability for her own actions. She literally caused this to happen. If she didn't invite him in the first place, then none of that would have ever happened. However, then he would have a change of heart and change his mind about humans. All this. Notice how everyone is trying to look for Dennis. Even he comes along to help. Now, the next scene is actually my very, very sheer great disappointment I had. You know how he just at that time, turns out, after all this entire time, yeah, he turns out to be a vampire and he's a late fanger, just like Dracula said. And then, yeah, let me just,
Yes, my dear.
this scene is adorable, but this This is how like both Mavis and Dracula find out that turns out that he's a vampire, that he actually turns out to be born a vampire, and that he actually is a Lightfinger. Like look at them, they both had like that really happy face expressions. The audacity, the freaking audacity.
Oh my god, I'm a vampire and a superhero. Am I cool now?
Now, Dennis, you were always cool. Human, vampire, unicorn, you're perfect no matter what.
However, this should have been a scene where like they all apologize to Dennis for like for all of that happening and making him feel like, and it's true that what Dracula said. However, but the scene makes it seem like that he only said that just because he turned out to be a vampire. I know that that's not true, but that's what the scene kind of looks like. And then as for this one,
But since I'm a vampire, can we stay here? Yes.
yeah, all it had to take for like them to stay at the hotel is that him becoming a vampire, him being a monster. I really don't like this ending. It's really not. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about all this. Yeah, the movie itself was great. The movie itself was pretty good, but the ending of it just no. Oh god, hang on. Woo, forget it. Let's not worry about pausing the movie. Let's just talk about the whole movie in general.
It's great. However, what's not great is that, like, how Dennis was being treated this whole time, and then how, like, people were around him, how his mother was, how his grandfather was, and then all it had to take for them to like not move to California and stuff is that him turning into a vampire. It turns out he actually is a vampire, a Lightfinger. They should have just made an ending where, like, despite being born a human, you know what I'm talking about. They should have like made an ending where like Mavis chooses to stay because, well, yeah. The movie in general just, it's both great and really not really good either. The ending itself is not good. My only focus was at how Dennis must have felt from the entire movie. You know what? I'm actually making a fan fiction about this on Wattpad. So it's about like an alternative universe. It's just like Hotel Transylvania, but a lot more different. Instead of like their child being, born a boy, it's actually a girl, and she actually ends up being born a human. And they move to California, and then her life just sucks real bad. And it's both good and bad. It's like a 50-50. So, yeah, I'm actually almost done making it. As soon as I finish the fan fiction, I'll send it to you guys and I'm wonder, you guys tell me what you think about it, okay? So, yeah. It's gonna be more of a different kind of story. I really don't like these sequels of like Hotel Transylvania. It had more potential, and then they just went downhill. Like, Sonny, what the heck? What the hell are you doing? At this point, those sequels are really nothing but cash grab, money grab. You know what I'm saying? If I was like the writer or director, anything like the story, I would do it a lot more better. And if anything, I think it would most likely get what do you call it? It's either an Oscar or Grammy. I think it's a Grammy. No, wait, no, it's an Oscar. It's an Oscar. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna end the video now. I'm pretty sure it's long enough, so I'll see you guys later in the next video. This time, yeah, it won't be too long, and yeah, and I'm sorry if I bored you out and stuff. So, yeah. See ya, bye.